Hi, and welcome to 12 Days of Creativity, the day 4. This is the music production challenge where we make a track in 12 steps. Today is the day 4, and we're going to concentrate in synth parts. So in this month, I will be making a track of my own, and you can see my process on these YouTube videos. But if you want to join the challenge, join it from the link below. Okay, so today I'm going to start by adding a wavetable, which is one of my favorite and I think more trustworthy synthesizers in Ableton Live. So what I have here is a clip that I've created. So I actually copied and pasted the piano clip that we created and took some of the notes away. So it's not a chord, but more like a pad sounding synth that we have in here. So in Wavetable, I have activated both of the oscillators. I have basic wave shapes on both of them, and I really want to add a lot of color, so I go more for square wave and sawtooth area. So a bit like with the chord progressions we did in the last step, I want to use the oscillator effect modes and select FM, because the FM basically means that we are modulating with the FM synthesis, and it adds so many cool harmonics into each of the oscillators. So I also use the modulation matrix to connect envelope 2 into the oscillator 2 position to add movement, and I'm going to do the same thing with the LFO1 into the oscillator 1 position. And in pad sounds generally, it's good to keep the sustain in 0 and also play with the release to kind of create a more smoother transitions. Also remember, add some unison to some really cool width. I'm more than happy to tell you that this episode is sponsored by DistroKid. So DistroKid actually has a really cool new product called DistroVid. So basically it's a music video distribution. It allows you to publish your music videos into Apple Music, Vivo, Amazon Music, Tidal, and also keep 100% of your earnings. So as someone who, example, I love making music videos with everything that I do, I also appreciate the fact that DistroVid then allows me to have an official Vivo channel, which means that I get the Vivo branding on YouTube. So obviously you're posting on YouTube by yourself, you can do that, but the Vivo branding just kind of ups your game a little bit. So I just uploaded my No I'll Do It single video, music video, into DistroVid, and the process was really simple and very straightforward, and I will be doing that with my next ones as well. DistroKid is so kind. They've given all my followers -7% for the subscription, so the link is down below. Also, they have partnered up for this challenge, so anyone who finishes up this whole program from the link down below and submits their track also will get a very nice offer from DistroKid. So better submit those tracks, eh? Thank you, DistroKid, for supporting me as always, and let's get back into the video. Okay, so we're gonna continue now with the pad sound. So I'm gonna add compact git to it. So we're gonna add some really nice wide delay to it, and especially the flavor, because it adds this little bit like a modulation sound into it. The next one I want to add is Baby Audio Super VHS. This is what adds super much like distortion and color into it, like a very retro vibe. So I'm gonna EQ it a little bit because obviously it's adding a lot of harmonics. So I just want to explore it a little bit. I'm adding high pass and low pass filters to take the high and low end away, just to add a little bit more space. But in the end, I decided that I'm not going to go with that one, but instead I'm going to go and try Tape by Baby Audio. So it adds different type of distortion. So it's more like you would be stretching the sound. And it adds this kind of little bit like a pitch modulation and also sound to it. So crackle and noise to it. Again, I'm going to EQ it, high pass filter, as well as a little bit the shelf, the high end shelf, to remove a little bit frequencies from the high end. We're going to move into mid-side EQing, because I thought it actually adds a little bit more width to it if I EQ the sides separately from the mid. So actually from the mid I'm taking a little bit more away, and then on the sides I'm adding some resonance in the mid frequencies. Also on the sides, I'm taking the high end a little bit away. And in the mids, I'm adding a very steep high end shelf and cut a little bit more from the middle as well. So after listening to this pad with the rest of the track, I noticed that it needs another EQ. And I'm adding a low pass filter into it. But also, I noticed that by adding a filter to this sound, we can create really cool lifts and tension and automation later into the arrangement when we actually arrange the whole song. I'm also moving the compact kit from being the first of the chain to the last of the chain to add the color and the width only after all the EQs and the tape and stuff. Okay, so I know this is not synth part, but I really got inspired by adding some strings into it and then transforming maybe punch of harmonic compositional strings into a synthy pad sound. So let's see what happens. But basically I have 3 parts here. I have 1 violin, 1 viola, and 1 cello part. So I'm gonna group the tracks together and add a glue compressor to make them kind of sound more like a one sound instead of 3 separate sounds. So next I'm gonna go and add actually a drum bus. So to add some color as well as some distortion, drive, transient. I'm gonna trim it a little bit, add drive more. And it really exaggerates the sound a little bit more. Next, we're going to go to plugins and baby audio tape. So this is what kind of makes it even more like a one pad synthesizer type of sound. Because again, it's kind of stretches the signal and adds noise to it. And I feel like it makes it more natural and more dynamic. And again, I'm adding an EQ8. I want to mix this signal a little bit more while we are producing because I think that's a good practice. Also, a lot less work later on when we are mixing the track. So on the previous synth that we just created, I also created this little bit more melodic sounding clip as well. And together with the violins and the beat, it sounds so good. Again, the key idea here is color, depth, space. Oh, so good. Okay, so today's thought is about time. This kind of challenge is very complicated, and I think one of the biggest obstacles we have, time. We say we don't have time. We all have busy lives. We have all responsibilities. Yes, we do. Every single one of us. And usually creativity is the first one in the line to be pushed away when we don't have time. It's not fair to say everybody actually has time. Of course not, because everybody has different life situations. But just consider for yourself, do you have half an hour, couple times a week to put for your creativity? Half an hour. That's the only thing I'm asking, is half an hour. So with this challenge, we have 12 steps. And each step is quite simple, quite short, depending on obviously how your approach to it. But example, drums. You can possibly get drums together, just clicking MIDI notes in half an hour. Yes, we need to manage our expectations when we just work in half an hour per step. But the goal is to finish a track. Whether you like it in the end, you can then go and customize it, decide what to do with it. But the point is that you put yourself in a situation where you are working towards getting a song done. So just try half an hour. For me, okay. Okay. As you know, discussion continues in Discord. And have a lovely, lovely creative time. Time.